This guy's a real jerk. I mean, this guy was a real jerk. This guy's a real jerk. I mean, this guy was a real jerk. This guy was a real jerk. This guy's a real jerk. This guy's a real jerk.
Mike, you are muted. So that entire thing.
All time.
Yes.
You know what? That's better. It's better that way. It's probably better that way. You know why? I got to be honest. The minute I heard the guest say the term tech difficulties in the studio, I had, 3 or 4 that I had to deal with just then? And then I just started it without hearing my voice, which, those at home can just play along and substitute in what you think I'm saying. But let me do it this way. Joining me as always is Sin Schrader Hill, author. How are you, Sin?
I'm great. I don't know. You could see all of us though, right? And I was down here going like this.
Yeah, no, that's so.
Sarah sent you a note that you were muted.
Yeah, I didn't. It's hard to do all that and actually talk. You know what I mean? And not be like.
But the thing is, you look good.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
So
you look fabulous doing it. Well, thank you.
And so joining us is the messenger herself, Sarah Paranormal. And you're muted too. And you're talking muted. See? I'm not the only one.
What is going on?
I feel better.
What the hell is happening?
That was the best intro I've ever heard you do, though.
Yeah, I didn't make a mistake. I didn't make one mistake.
Nope. Didn't offend anyone. And my internet's bad.
For the record, I came up with 3 and 3, though, on either side of the numbers for the math geek. So
I wondered what the number was.
It worked out. Yeah, it worked out. So it's the last Sunday before Christmas, basically Christmas Eve. Do you guys do anything big for Christmas Eve as far as like seafood?
Seafood?
Yes.
Seafood?
I mean, we see a lot of food.
Oh, no, I don't know. We're gonna get. I don't know. I gotta get a drum roll. If I can get a drum roll that I can just play when you do that. No, for real. Like, we only eat seafood.
Really?
For Christmas Eve, it's like 7 dishes. I think it's like steamers and crab and shrimp and I don't know, scrod. I don't know. There's like a bunch of different meat dishes that come of seafood. They used to even eat the bacala soup, which was gross. But yeah, it's an Italian thing. Yeah, Sysco knows, she's listening. It's just one of those things. It's
Oh, we lost Sysco.
That's all we. It's all we. Well, I'll stall for it. That's all we eat. And I remember the first time I had chicken on Christmas Eve, I was freaked out. I'm like, oh, this is really good. Like, but like, should we be eating this tonight? Like, for real. Like, it's one of those things. So the guest that's joining us, Sin, would you like to do an introduction for her?
I'd love to. So the person we have on tonight is from New Jersey. However,
Yep.
she lived in Huntsville, Alabama for a while. So she knows my neck of the woods and knows how those Southerners talk. And she can even throw a few lines in if you like her to. I'm sure she will. She is not only a paranormal investigator, she's not only an author, she's not only a podcaster, but I mean, this lady does floral design. She does all kinds of stuff. She has been to the Gettysburg Bash that you guys were talking about. So we can ask her some questions about that too. Please welcome from Journey Through the Gate Paranormal Portal podcast and The Strange Case of Cabin 22 author, Sysco Murdoch.
Hello, Sysco.
Bless your heart.
Bless your heart.
Thank you, God, for having me on, and bless your old heart. Yes. Listen, I consider it absolutely fabulous that I got a chance to live almost as long in the South as I have in the North, where I got a real good taste of what humanity has to offer. You know, sometimes you got to spit that right back out, but you know, but there's lovely people everywhere, and the customs and tradition is terrific. So
See, what
to
I
be
was
here.
thinking,
So sorry about the tech issues.
no, don't worry about it. What's kind of cool is that in a weird way, you have this Southerner / Jersey robotic voice that I've
She
never heard
does.
before. So you could be like the
Very
down
cool.
south Jersey like Terminator. Be dope as all hell. Now, really quickly, Sysco. How do we get
And a
that name?
redhead. So
How do we
we
get that name?
Cisco. Well, basically, while I was just getting out of the Army, I was also starting to bartend. And where I bartended, you had to have a nickname. You could not use your real name in this bar. And they kept bugging me, and everybody was named Candy, Buffy, you know, all these different. I'm like, I'm none of those. And I looked at a box of straws and it said Cisco on it, and I said, Cisco, put it on a name tag. You know, and that's where it came
All right.
from. Mom didn't
So-
name me that, but more people, even my family, call me that now. Isn't that strange?
All right, but can I tell you my thoughts on that? And this is my
Sure.
pre-thoughts. And for the record, I do speak for the dumb. I'm happy to represent them. We spell
Okay.
it DUMM. It's doing understanding much more. You know what's funny is can you see my face?
I can see your face. Yeah.
All right, good, because I can't see yours, which is kind of like it's like a good poker match for you.
It's freaking you out a little. Yeah. I got you.
I immediately thought of you know, the thong, no offense, the thong song, because that's the only
Right.
Cisco that I really know. I'm
Spelled
being dead
different.
serious.
I've gone from Cisco Kid to what was it? The company, you know, the trucks and everything. Look, they're all my trucks. Good things come from Cisco. Plain and simple.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. Sarah, did you
Yep.
have Sarah Paranormal? You ever have a nickname?
Yeah. So in high school, I was Sarah Bell, and my best friend Amy sat behind me, and she was Amy B. And so we started just calling each other B because we were the only two B's in the school, and we were always sitting next to each other. And then eventually, everyone just called me B. So my nickname was just B for most of, you know, my youth. B Dog.
Are we making stuff up now?
No.
I question the
Yeah.
I question B Dog. I question
I would-
anybody ever
that-
rolling
that
up on
is
you, my
what
friend, and
people
being like,
call
"What up,
me.
B Dog?"
Yeah.
No.
Do it.
No.
Do I not look like a B
your
Dog
rapper
to you?
days. Your rapper days. Your
She was
pork
sort of
chop,
gangsters.
T-bone pork chop, and yeah, sounds good.
Oh,
Well,
King
see, the
Miguel.
thing is, if you look at names too, though, I mean, if you really want to look at even, say, not really metaphysical or supernatural, but just in a lot of cultures, a lot of different Native American cultures. I'm Cherokee and Lenape, and your name changes with your characteristics as you grow. You know, Crazy Horse had 29 different names, and it wasn't Crazy Horse, it was Crazy as his horse. That was one stage of it. So I think that's why, instead I'm your first name would be probably Cynthia or something close to that, and you wind up with Sin because Sin shoots you. So your name kind of goes with you as you grow and your characteristics change. There are a lot of different things. My Native American name is story. So it just depends on who you are at that time, I think, in a lot of ways too.
So does it show? So does it show non-progress in myself for having the same nickname since like Mike. I don't know, 89?
Well, you probably have people. No, I would say that you probably have people that call you different things, even if it's it could be even as much as dad or uncle or hey, Unc. I mean, people kind of put their own feeling of how they feel about you as well. And
yes, they do.
Wouldn't you say? But Sin, wouldn't you say it has something to do with frequency and vibration as well? Like when your vibration and stuff changes, because even in so many cultures, people, I don't want to name it out because I'll probably get it wrong, but your first name begins with the first sound heard by the matriarch of the family, and they will wait, and your name will reflect that sound as well as, other things. Some children carry their father's and mother's name until they come up with the personality of this child, and then they get it. So I know that sounds really deep, but if you think about it, it really has a lot to do with paranormal, supernatural, because that's where frequency, vibration, energy reigns, right?
No, I get that. I guess what I'm saying is it sounds better to say that I've grown with a nickname as opposed to I've just had the same exact one forever. Sin, your thoughts on that?
That you've had the same name forever?
No. I nickname.
Oh, no, we call you all kinds of names.
I got my own problems.
No, not to his face, and we don't call him those things to his face.
Yeah,
Oh, was I not supposed to say that?
Yeah, not those words. By the way, there's a lot of other nicknames we're called and names that we're called that we just can't quite say. But those two have a lot of feeling and meaning behind them. But,
That's true.
Sin, you've gone through a million names.
There you go.
I have.
Your name has grown, I think, every month you've been here, right?
Possibly. I mean, back in college, I was known as Old Blue.
Old Blue.
I like that. I have a sledgehammer named Old Blue. We'll have to talk about that. Yeah. I know.
So,
it's too weird not to be true. So there you go.
Sysco, the first thing that sticks out, right, is the name of the podcast. So, Journey Through the Gate Paranormal Portal Podcast.
Exactly.
That's as fast as probably someone's ever said it.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Yeah. You want to try the name of my book?
No. What's it? I was thinking too. It's it's JTTGPPP short.
An acronym. Yeah. Well, actually, I kind of came by that honest too. I wanted Beyond the Gate, and I searched when you do podcasts, the work that goes into it, nobody will ever know. Trying to make the picture the right size for iTunes, and it's just everything. So I searched, and I tried to be ethical, and I couldn't find anything Beyond the Gate. That was a podcast or a radio show. So I did everything. I made everything that you do for your iTunes. And probably the day or two after I put it up, I look and I find a radio show out of someplace out in the South. I can't remember, Texas or something. And it was called Beyond the Gate. So I changed everything. But I already had the feel. I wanted what's on the other side of the gate, whatever that gate may be for you. And I wanted it to talk about our journey, going through that. Everybody does, and some of us go back and forth depending on your abilities or whatever, and studies and research. So that's why, and I wanted to make it clear. So put it down there, spelled it out, think about it.
I guess in my dumb head again, it's really long, is what I'm saying.
Yep.
It's like it's descriptive, and I can tell that you're getting your point across with it. But
right.
For me, like because when I read, I get drowsy. But I would
if that's getting you, you should try one of my intros. My intros are long, but there's a reason behind it. There's always a reason behind it. And again, I'm not real big at like everybody's in a push button thing right now. I guess I'm trying to slow everybody down a little bit. Take your time. If it's not, and if it's not your piece of cake, it's not. But when you get down to take your time, enjoy the journey. Slow down. It's not just push button instant 6-minute clip of history of whatever it is as fast as you can intake it. Sometimes you want to slow dance a little bit. So everything I do, all my titles, my email, everything is long.
So
you gotta want
Sarah, Sarah, to you, my my ADHD would have said Through the Gate Paranormal Podcast. That's what see now. Hers is better, but I'm telling you where my mind would go because I shorten everything. In a name of a podcast. This is a good question because that's what she did. That's what we do. What do you look for in the name of a podcast? And I'm being dead serious. The intent of it, like it helps explain what the show is about, the catchiness of it. Like,
so before I answer that question, I'd like to remind everyone to please like and subscribe at Legit Podcast, DOTCOM, at legitpodcast.com, spelled it out. It's under my name there. And also draw attention to the fact that we now have a phone number where you can call and leave us messages. So it's 508-534-8763 or 508-LEGIT-POD. You can call, leave us a message, and maybe we'll play it on the show if it's polite. Or at the very least, we'll get back to you and answer your questions.
Sarah, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I just had a sip from my Atkins tumbler.
From your Atkins tumbler?
You know what's great about an Atkins tumbler? It keeps the hot stuff hot and the cold stuff cold.
What else could you ask for in a tumbler?
Wow.
All right, I'm sorry. Back to what you were going to say.
Okay, so when I'm looking, like, if you mean while I'm looking, like if I'm scrolling through iTunes and I'm looking at names of podcasts and trying to decide what I'm going to listen to.
Yep.
Yeah, it would be something that sounds original, I think, and descriptive. So, I like the name because I don't want something that just sounds like it's been ripped off from somebody
it's a really good name. I'm just,
yeah.
It's one of those things I analyze as another podcast person. Like you look at it. Sin, I guess when it comes to when you're looking at podcasts, what are you looking for? Like that will make you stop at it as you're kind of like sorting through.
If it's a different name, I don't like just the normal paranormal podcast. No, you want something extra, and Sysco has it.
Dude, Sysco, in that same note, do you dislike it when like you click on something that is really just not the real name? Like, you know what I mean? Like it'll be like Alien Brain, Live, whatever. It's just not anything about that. Does anyone know what I'm talking about when I speak?
I do. Well, see, here's the thing. I can best answer your question if I back up a little bit and I look at the big picture of it. If you knew me better, you'd know that I'm one of those people that I don't put on airs for anybody. I'm old. I've been in this game a long time. 50 years is a long time to watch things change. Mm-hmm. And like I said before, I'm very into just being descriptive in what I'm about because I'm an acquired taste. And if somebody is having a hard time with the name, that's why I laughed and said you're not going to like the intros. The minute it goes more than 25 seconds, people complain. My intros can go up to 20 minutes, but there's a reason behind it, and people get that. And when they get that, they stay. So it's also a way, and I don't want to sound in a bad way. It's a filtering. And that's what I mean. If you want your information in short, blast, 3-minute blast, bam, 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 very sanitized and quick, it's not the show for you because we talk about things. Sometimes we turn it inside out and look at it 3 or 4 times in every layer of it because I'm at the point in my life where what I'm leaving behind is trying to leave behind the truth. And thoroughly going through it, say like Lizzie Borden, I just don't go and look at a couple other people's videos and say, okay, she did this, this, and this, and rehash the same stuff. I go back and read newspapers from that time, articles, try to talk to personal letters written back and forth between witnesses and people involved in the trial, or, different things available. Because when I'm done and I put a seal on it, I've looked at it the best I can. That doesn't mean I'm not going to move, but it means that at that point in time, this is what I came up with. This is where I'm at. So when I'm leaving that behind, it's not just a rehashing of, say, Lincoln's mother died of this, and this. No, I went back and found out she died of milk poisoning. So let's put all that to bed. If you're watching a podcast that's just rehashing something that it's been told so much, it's taken as fact. Sometimes we need to go back, and that's my way of also trying to teach people to be better investigators. You don't just walk in and assume it's Joe because that's who they said it is. You've got to start from the beginning.
So let me start at the beginning of this. I got a bunch I want to go through really here fast. So you're basically at the DGAF part of life, which I'm
absolutely, and I
50.
hit that pretty darn young.
You know what I mean?
I'm ex-military. Yeah, I'm ex-military. I mean, I say it like it is. But here's the thing: if I get it wrong, I have no problem coming back and go, look, I got it wrong. This is what I found out since then, because I'm trying to leave truth for the youth. That's it.
So my next question then is, if an intro is 40 minutes, is it truly an intro, or is that a show?
No, it's not. It's conditioning, and it's a conditioning on purpose. And this is why, if I'm going to be talking about demons that night, everybody that comes into that live chat, the live shows where it's at. Everybody that comes in that live chat, I don't know what they went through today. I don't know where their vibration is. I don't know where their frequency is at. If you're coming into the show and you want to learn and you want to hear from this guest, I need you to put on some protection. And the only way I can do that is to raise your vibration and your frequency before you even get to the show. It also gives time for people in the chat to come in, get a good seat, get the snacks ready, talk, ask them, hey, how's that ankle, such and such. It's also a time, like a community gathering, where kind of like Cheers, everybody knows your name, and you have real friends around the world. And everybody's settled in, and by the time the intro's over, the vibrations change, the frequencies change, they're focused on what the subject's going to be, and they're protected.
How do you know these people? Where do all these people live? Where are all these positive people?
Listen,
I don't know.
Her chat is like a community itself.
It is.
They know each other. They chat during the entire intro.
Yeah, I see. We have people like that, but they're not friendly. You know what I mean?
Except for JK and Atkins. JK and Atkins are friendly.
There's a lot of friendly ones, but there's a lot of not friendly ones.
That's true.
I could not do a live show. I can guarantee you that right now. I couldn't do one because I know people that would call just a bust, and just people that are funny too. Like I tried to do it live once with football, and ended up pissing off the city of Philadelphia, and had people from Philly calling in, waiting for me to get on the air. Yeah, I couldn't wait. I made them all mad. I don't know how I did it. I mean, I know how I did it, but I can't believe that I reached that many Philadelphians, if that's what they want to call themselves. But so let's get back to this. So basically what you're saying is, because see, I don't investigate. I don't, I podcast, and then like these fine ladies, they investigate. They do that kind of stuff, right? I myself just like to host shows, and I've gotten into this over the last, I don't know how many, 2 or 3 years. So what I like about the show is that I've learned from doing the show, right? It's something that I didn't know much going in. And then it's like literally like a couple hours a week, a couple years straight, you start to get people that you kind of, it's weird when you hear someone that you immediately kind of connect with, even though they're telling you a story that if you heard it on paper, you'd be like, that's bullshit. It's like that. So that's a weird thing. The whole podcasting of a paranormal thing. And then just learning getting to a point where you really can realize bullshit and not bullshit. And it's the not bullshit that is the one that freaks me out the most, usually by the end of the show, because I can't even get my head around kind of what just happened. Has that happened to you a lot, or are you just like cool like Fonzie? Because you might be at this point. I don't know.
Takes a lot to rattle me these days. I'll tell you that. Look, I'm ex-Army, raised 2 boys uphill both ways barefoot. Just married one off.
No.
Beautiful, real cool human beings. It takes a lot, and there's a lot of people out there that can say that and can admit that that's like the hardest job and the best job they could ever have in life. And it's really what it's about. But for people who stumble into the paranormal, the supernatural as children, and many people they've had an experience. Sometimes it's just one experience, Mike, that sets them off on a lifetime of an investigation and wonder and what's going on here. And there's so many different paths. It's like, if you think about it like an interstate with all these exits, the paranormal and supernatural is just that. There's so many exits. You can come around, you can make a U-turn and get more of something else. Like, okay, I want to learn about tarot, or I want to learn about strengthening my psychic abilities. What can I do with this? Or I just want to see, what did I see? Who can tell me about ghosts? Who can tell me about the afterlife? Is it when we die, or do we go on? And whatever little exit you take, and that's your paranormal journey of investigation. Some people they just want to hear ghost stories. They're just in it for the boo, which is also fine. But I'm at the point, like you said, which is again fine. Who doesn't love a good ghost story? But
I gotta ask, Sarah, are you in it for the boo?
I'm in it for a lot of reasons, and the boo is definitely one of them. But it is not the only reason.
Sin, are you in it for the boo, Sin?
I'm always in for the boo.
See,
Always.
Yeah, absolutely.
I am not in it for the boo part of it. Like, I don't want to be scared. How about that?
Yeah.
I don't want to be scared. I don't want to be scared. If I don't have to be scared, I can't watch horror movies, Sysco, because they like, I don't want to be riled up watching a movie. Like, I don't want to be tense. I don't even like suspense. Like, I want it to be like a comedy that's really kind of. I'm dumb. I've said this before, but I'm just letting you know that's kind of where I'm at. So when it comes to suspense and when it comes to guests, have you ever had one in particular that really like changed you, your opinion at least, somewhat?
Oh, all the time. All the time.
So give me one.
And if they say something that makes me think, I love that, because I'll go back, we'll talk about it, I'll go back and I'll research it. And I'll try to figure out, where did they go? Look, that's a broad question. It could be something. There's things that have stone cold facts. You've got 10 people in a room, a full-bodied apparition unmistakably walks through one wall across the room and out the other wall.
It's like
Now,
Scooby-Doo.
you're going to have people in this. You can go back to, say, the 60s. You can go back to late 60s, to Barry Taft and Lloyd Auerbach and some of these other people that came out of the parapsychology era, where people were going to college and universities and they were studying this in scientific ways. They may have told you then that was a mass hallucination. Everybody in that room had an hallucination. They would study it from that angle. And then I've watched it go from that type of thing. And at the same time, you got a Hans Holzer out there with Sybil Leek and Ethel Myers walking in with his kind of Austrian kind of demeanor, and walked in with Ethel Myers with this no nonsense attitude, and just said, he was more there for the dead than the living, because he figured if you help the dead, the living is going to be fine, because that's their problem. He focused on the dead, communicated through Sybil Leek with the ghosts that were on the property at the time, sorted it out, and then said, look, you got to go. You can't stay here. You need to get on the other side and go through your stuff, And at the same time, you had those big heavy hitters in the early 70s, like I said, late 60s, early 70s. And this is what I grew up on. So to ask me how many different people I've had that's changed my mind changes, or it's added onto, and the vision is broadened every minute if you're paying attention, because I think every case teaches you something. Every story can teach you something. And that's one thing I do on my show. We might look at an old ghost story and I'll ask my chat, where are we now? What do you think now? If you're an investigator on this case, where would you be? And they state, where they were, what they would choose at this time, where they would be thinking was going on. We finish the story, and that changes because you have more information and you can look at it and go, oh, wow. And I think that broadens your scale of thought when you're involved in this, because you can't put ghosts in a box. You can't, just say, all ghosts can't hurt you. Honey, they can kill you.
Sysco, did you like the band The Grateful Dead?
I wanted to because of the name, and I was so into it then. But I was more. I'm an AC/DC girl. I'm
Okay.
Angus all the way.
All right, now I get it. No,
I wanted to because I like the graphic.
I can usually figure people out by the music that they call out, but that's where I was trying to get the vibe coming from. But yeah, I get it. So there's a little bit of rebellion in that, but there isn't. Sin, wouldn't the most difficult part of that be what she just said? The whole keeping the community to where they're, because the people that watch our shows, and I love them, but they're animals. Like they really are. They're animals. Like they'll say crazy stuff, which I love. That's fine. Sometimes there's people that are really got intelligent stuff that goes in there too. But like, you know, how would you like what do you think of her cultivating that type of audience? Sin.
I do not understand your question at all.
What do you think of the way she cultivated the audience, the way that they get along, the way that they're
Oh, her audience, how they get along in it.
Yes. Yeah.
She's been doing this so long that these people have come in and just have made a family.
So some have stayed on, and then the rest would fall off.
Yeah, and the ones that stay are truly family. Honestly,
So
I mean,
true.
They'll call each other names. They'll. When I was on her show last time, one of them asked them how the knee was going. I mean,
yeah, we kept the guy awake one night. We stayed on. He had a concussion and he was alone. He didn't want to go to sleep. He didn't have anybody to help him. We stayed with him. I mean, we've got through operations and family losses and pets passing and everything else. And, you know, and it's not just that. It's helping people sort things. You know, we've also created a paranormal chain of, help, where people will email me or whatever. And I'm in Ohio in such and such a place and I have an active thing and I've got kids involved. And I'm like, okay, honey, but you know how I do this? I have to, run it through my filters. Then I'm going to call my people. There's kids involved and they will be there and they will stay until it's handled, but there's things you have to go through and it takes years to get that to where, I mean, in the UK, Scotland, New Zealand, Canada, and, and that's everybody. That's a community. Not one person can take any kind of credit for that. It's just I'm a bridge. I'm like a medium that connects people, in living and dead. It's cool.
Can I ask a question really quick?
Yes, good, sir.
So we're talking about a community and all the things you're saying are wonderful. So to take that sort of and play devil's advocate, if it's a strong family and you're all listening and discussing with each other every week or every few weeks, or how do you prevent yourself in the paranormal field? Because there are so many different ideas out there by not coming this bubble where you just have confirmation bias. And so you're just reinforcing each other's ideas all the time and not allowing any new ideas to come in. So I guess that's my question with a close-knit group. How do you prevent against confirmation bias?
Well, the thing is we allow discussion and we argue all the time. I've had people get out and be so mad at me. But see, the thing is it's free will. It's just like with ghosts, free will.
Right.
You can't go home, but you can't stay here.
Right.
So let's work through. Let's sort that. And it's the same. With the living, even more so. I think in a lot of ways. But I've had people get mad, and that's not true. You can't look. When you get involved in the paranormal and supernatural and you start bringing any kind of religion or spiritual beliefs or anything like that, you got arguing all the time. But when you have a wonderful chat that says, look, that's fine to believe that, but listen to this and take it in and put it in your pocket. Your consciousness might not be able to receive this right now. You're thinking in a narrow hallway and you haven't gotten to all the doors that you can open yet. So just put it in your pocket. If it upsets you and the show that night isn't for you, please go and come back tomorrow night. We'll have something completely different. And you're allowed to think how you want to think. We just don't allow people to attack others and things like that. They will definitely put you in a timeout. Oh, look, you can think the way you want, but can you find a different way to say that? You know, and we handle it that way. So we
So,
definitely don't have a bubble of we're not going outside that. We reach outside that all the time. Believe
So
me,
here's the
and
thing.
it's crazy.
Here's I think what the difference is. Here's where I think what the difference is. This is what I've been trying to figure out the whole time. So, see, you have more of a friendly, let's all come together type tone, attitude, vibration. Whereas I like to agitate. I like to sometimes, make jokes. Like I have a very, I don't want to say anarchist type way of doing things, but I like it when it's a little weird, and I like that it gets a little off. And I like people that argue with me. I don't know if that might be a Northeast thing that I'm
I'll
just
debate
stuck
you
in here.
anytime, man. What you want?
You know what I mean?
What you got? What you got? I can rebel against. Let's go. No,
Oh
and
God,
that's
No,
the
I'm
thing.
just
It's like,
saying. Like,
oh, I
there's so
get it.
much
I get it.
Sysco.
I know.
like this,
I get it. Look, I was a bartender, so you know what I mean. Also, so that's the thing. I like to reach outside of things. Outside, what I'm talking about, Bigfoot having frequency. I'm talking about everything being connected. We're talking about aliens, interdimensional. We're talking about this, that, and the other thing. But I'm also adamant in my belief of, look, you got to have the right tool for the job here. You can't fix a Mercedes with an egg beater. You can attempt it all day long, but when you get to where I am, like you said in the beginning, it's like there's some facts that are facts. Now, I have people that should know better that call me up and go, look, this is an actual call. I've got an elemental of some sort in this house. I've got to sell it. I need to know what to do. Now it's attached to me. I'm like, okay, I'm going to hook you up with 2 remote viewers and this person and this person. They will contact you, yada, yada, yada. We get that. They call me up and I go, okay, right out the gate. I'm going to work. I got stuff to do. I'm absolutely here for you. What do you need? This is the situation. I said, okay, you need to go to your local historical society. You need to find out what Native American tribe was there. You need to get a hold of them, telling you what your land blessed. And then when they get there, you tell them what you really need, and they'll know how to handle it. Follow their instructions. An hour and a half later, they call me back. Should I get a priest? And I said, no. You need to do what I said in the first phone call. You can get a priest, but you're eventually going to wind up going to what I said at first. But if you want to keep doing this, because this was going on for weeks, and there's children involved. The thing is you got to be able to listen to people too.
So Sysco, my next guess is that you're kind of wishy-washy. You like let other people make decisions for you.
You just,
you want me to
even
filter
shocked
my
anymore.
answer?
He did.
Is it?
Get
Dude, come on my show.
Stretching out.
Oh, have him on your show.
Come on my show. Come over to my house. Come to my house. And look, if you want to look seriously, if you want to learn about ghosts, we're still learning. I've been doing this for 50 years. I'm not an expert, but I know enough to say I don't know. But
Well,
there's definitely
none of us are
stuff going
experts, right?
Hell no.
That's the point.
And
None
that
of
was
us are experts.
No,
Yeah.
you can't be. But I can absolutely get a hold of a medium that's out there on the radio, and this happened. It was 20 years ago, and she was on a famous radio show, and it was very late at night, very popular, and stated matter-of-factly that all suicides are earthbound ghosts and don't cross, and that's complete and total bullshit. That's dangerous information to be putting. And you've got a mom who just lost a son. You've got a young wife that just lost somebody to suicide. That is dangerous information. There's too much flim-flam information going out as a matter of fact. And that's one thing I'm trying to pull back and go, you can't put anything in a box like that. You can't.
So flim-flam information, though, has been going out, depending on what you consider flim-flam, since they started.
That I would say is irresponsible flim-flam information. Yes, I would. I'll stand by that.
But I'm literally saying that depending on where you stand, it could have started in year 1. You know what I mean by that? Like literally, what's flim flam to some people is not the others. And what I will agree with you is this is tough, is that in a podcast, if you bring up the word demon, people get this weird religious tension, and it just weirds me out. Like, I wish people would just talk about their own religion, and other people just go, okay, and just move on. Like, not have to be like, you know what, I think yours is wrong. It's like, why do you care? Just believe yours.
Go back to tools. It goes back to tools, honey. It's what works and what doesn't. Demons are a lot less. There's a lot less of them than people think. And there's a lot more different kinds than people think. And again, they're putting in a box. Not everything running around that's bad is a demon. Some things were never human. Some things were never even anything living. It's just a manifestation of multiple energies that have built itself that now wants to become more powerful, and that's just as, and some people are calling it poltergeist, some people are calling it energy mass, some people are calling it just whatever. There's so many different names out there. We're just trying on my podcast to kind of reach outside of the box a little bit, introduce different ideas and say, what do you guys think about this? And then we boil it down and try to get to, what's actually happening. I mean, is it good for somebody to go in and kick in a door and, show up with a recorder and go, you better talk to me now, or blah, blah, blah. Well, how many people have I had to send to get something off of somebody like that? Are you really wanting to get in for, evidence and things like that? There's a lot of people out there getting really good evidence and handling it in a responsible manner and sharing it amongst, learning amongst. There's wonderful groups, and I think it's wonderful that I've seen in decades it go from what I mentioned earlier with your parapsychology and everything is a hallucination, or reprove it with science, or get a ghost in a jar.
Hold on, Sysco. I do have to stop you there because I studied under Lloyd. It's not, and I think that if you would find that parapsychology itself is changing as well, whereas
absolutely
not everything's a hallucination, but some things are.
Yes, exactly, and I agree with you, and that's why I said in the 70s, because in the late 60s to early 70s, that was the thing. Yeah. They grew as well, and that's terrific, because if you talk to Barry now, or you talk to Lloyd now, you hear them say, back, when I did this, like say with Taft on The Entity, when I first did it, I was thinking this. Now I'm leaning a little bit more of this with a little of this thrown in, and that's growth, and that's powerful, and you're 100% correct. Because the only reason I mentioned it that way is because at that time, that's kind of what he was saying. It's like, no, this isn't. Let's look at it this way. Let's look at it this way. And again, it also shows the difference between Holzer and the things that were going on, and all the unnamed people. All the unnamed people that were doing it that never got things.
Here's what I would say though. If so, we have I'm sorry, what's his last name again?
Lloyd Auerbach.
Lloyd is on again on March 10th. It'll be second time on the show. If I'm pretty sure that if I asked him what he believed in the 60s, 70s, has it changed? If he doesn't say yes a little bit, then like, you know what I mean? Like anybody who's stuck in the same thinking of the 60s and 70s and hasn't evolved now,
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you're supposed to do. And that's why I said about the names too. Your character as well changes, and your personality changes. I think that's what we're all here to do, and help each other do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do wish that parapsychology would progress a little bit further to be more accepting of things that aren't like, so I get what Sysco's saying, things that aren't within the realm of parapsychology, because parapsychology will just stick to, hauntings, poltergeists, and then like psychical research, whereas, we don't consider, or in parapsychology, they don't consider any of the other metaphysical. So elementals, demons, all that stuff is not a thing. So that's not changed. That's still not considered valid in the parapsychological community, the same way they don't talk about cryptids or UFOs. But does Lloyd himself believe that stuff? I don't know. That's interesting. We should talk to him about that, because I haven't actually asked him about his personal view. I've only talk to him in a sort of like a educational sort of setting. So
No, I think he had a beer with us that night. To be completely honest, on the show.
did you? I can't picture Lloyd having a beer for some reason.
Pretty sure. But no, they all seem to be really good people, and I learned a little bit from everyone I talked to.
And it's great that they've lasted this long, and we know their names, and we've learned something from all of them, just like all the mediums that have come through, and the different. But again, those are the ones that we hear about. I think it's great that we're at this time that so many people via podcasts and so many different outlets now in the inner tubes, whatever, that we get to see the people that you would have never heard from. People like Steve Stockton, who's gone around, the Appalachians and collected up all the stories from the folk before they passed, and then put it into books, and then turned it into a podcast and put it all out there. And we hear about the granny witches, and we hear about all the, the herbalists and the curing, and, this, that, and other things, and just all the wonderful. And that's what I base my show on. There's, you can deal with the yin and the yang, the dark and the light. We try to start it with light. We'll get into the dark, and we try to end it in the light, because I like to leave people on a high vibration when they leave. And that's an important thing, because it's just like going to an investigation. If you're not putting some kind of protection that you yourself believe in, and then finishing it off and closing that before you go home, this is why we get phone calls. This is why. It's a real thing. There's a lot of miracles and wonder out there, but there's a lot of danger too. And I believe it's all connected. It's like these studies, like you were saying, Sarah, all these different studies, they'll study this, but they don't go outside of that box.
Right. Yep.
Okay.
It's not inclusive.
Well, if it's all connected, why aren't we studying all of it? And I think it's great. In my lifetime, I've got to see a little bit of that combination, coming together, like I was saying in the beginning, they with all science, or with a little more folksy, I think. And then we kind of lost that. It went right to science, and these ghost shows, like say Ghost Hunters, we're all about the facts and the science. Let's take out the feelings and the psychics and all of that. We just want what we can prove as evidence or debunk. They're even the ones that made debunking the word, right? And now we're back to groups having multi-talented people in there. Some are tech, some are sensitive, some have abilities, some do both. And I think
like the
great that I got to see that.
The A-Team.
Like the A-Team, with the faith and
community. That's the way villages flourish.
Sin, question.
Sysco, I believe you had a Christmas story.
Oh, wow. Okay, you want to talk about the miracles in this? All right, I lost my mom in 76. Okay, 1976. And she's always been my greatest teacher in this, because she's appeared to me in different times, after her passing in different ways. And it taught me a lot. That being said, we just matter-of-factly know that our loved ones are listening. When we talk about them, they can hear us. We just take it as a fact, because we know it. And my son, my youngest son, was in a horrible accident. He was mostly crushed in a car accident, and long recovery. And we finally got him back, and because of his brain injury, he could not watch any kind of television or game or anything like that. The flashing would cause the seizure. So through his physical therapy, right around Christmas, I got him back home, and we were all settling down. It was about a week before Christmas, and he could watch a little bit of black and white TV. So we would watch an old movie, and just to get a little something different, So we watched the old movie Harry, and because it was a TCM or something, they had something really cool. It was I think Mario Lanza singing Ave Maria in between. So as Ave Maria,
by the way, which is extremely cool. But I don't think they get it, how cool Mario Lanza was.
Oh, well.
And how sing.
Oh, absolutely.
Sorry,
so it's okay. So he's singing this song, and it's Ave Maria. It's absolutely beautiful. And I was telling my son about it, and I said, this was your grandmother Peggy's favorite singer, favorite song. And we talked a little bit about it, because it's all in Latin, and I told him what it meant and everything, and he was just really focused on it, and I could feel the love in the room. Well, I was also involved. I do jewelry, and I have some jewelry in the gallery out here, and she wanted to do a Christmas thing, so I set up a nice Victorian Christmas seance for her. And this is jumping ahead about a week, right before Christmas. And the medium got sick. What do you do when your psychic gets sick? Or you've got a packed seance house for a couple days before Christmas. So I put out a blast, and I said, look, I need somebody that's available. Can you call me? So I got a couple of calls, and I'm talking to this one lady who never met before, and she didn't know me, through a friend, one of those, and she's talking to me on the phone. And we're talking about, what she would have to do and what would be, all the details of her being for the seance. And then she stops and she says, you know what? I can't, she said, I can't go on here. I have a female. And if I don't say something, she's not going to let me listen to what you're saying. And I kind of leaned back against the counter in my kitchen and I went, okay, I know who this is. Go ahead. Yeah, she's not going to quit. You just let her say what she wants to say. And I'm smiling, And again, she doesn't know me. She says, yeah, I'm getting a woman here and she's enough. And she describes her. And I said, yep, I know her. And she says, is she religious? And I said, no, she's, she wasn't really religious. I mean, she believed, but she had her own faith, and that kind of thing. Why? Why are you asking me that? She goes, because she's singing Ave Maria and she won't stop singing. I go, oh, I know what she's talking about. She says, she's smiling. Yes. She's nodding. Yes. You get it. She goes, she was there. She heard you.
Aww.
And I said, I got it. And she said, he's doing wonderful. And I said, yes, he is. And she goes, wait a minute. She's got one more thing for you. And she said, yep. She says, Merry Christmas. And right then I felt this surge rush through me, the warmth and the love that just blasted right through. I felt her go through me. And she said, she just gave you a hug. And I said, she sure did. Thanks, honey. Merry Christmas back to you. So that's my little Christmas story. That's the fast version that popped up in there. But that, if that's one echo I can put out there on the waves to let everybody know your loved ones hear you, please talk to them. Please send them happy thoughts and happy energy, because that's not only going to be good for your vibration, your frequency, and your energy, but theirs as well. And I've got many, Sin knows the story. I've got many stories on practicing with that and sending that to loved ones and seeing the change that it affects them, and it affects you too. So give yourself and your loved ones that holiday gift and understand that love is eternal. And when you think happy thoughts and you laugh and you recall memories with them that make you laugh, it helps them too.
I would say that people live on. I always had this weird vibe that whenever you say someone's name, it's almost like the old school phone operators, like plugging somebody through. It's like when you bring somebody up from the past in that moment, they're kind of there. Like, they're in your head enough where, especially if you're reminiscing with someone else, or discussing like an uncle or something like that. In that moment, I don't know why, but in my head, it feels more like that's almost like bringing them back. It's like to me, like if your name is mentioned forever, like that's one of those, you never forget that whole legacy of it. So it's not that I want my name to be like that. I don't want anyone to really know it. But what I'm saying is there's certain people that have those names that like stick in your head forever. Like I had an Uncle Ned, I had Uncle Guido. Like I had some names of uncles like you can't forget. You know what I mean? And you remember them. And like back in the day, like in the 70s, 80s, Christmas Eve was like, man, I'm talking like 30 Italians just way squeezed in. And then like they played cards from like, I say like 10 o'clock to maybe like 2 in, just yelling at each other, just fish everywhere. So it's like that right there, getting in touch with your mom, that's, I feel like things happen more near Christmas. No, everyone's really believe my theory, but for some reason, Christmas draws more of this kind of stuff. Maybe it's because people are pre-built to want to have things happen at Christmas, or my theory again is things happen more on Christmas. What do you think, Sarah, about the Christmas theory?
So I I had a near-death experience on Christmas in which I was visited by my relatives. So yeah, absolutely. I'm not going to say that experience was totally positive. It was very traumatic. So I kind of had a thing with Christmas for a while.
You had to listen to Christmas music around the clock, whether you were awake or.
Yeah, I was in a coma in the ICU, and they obviously were playing Christmas music the entire time. So I think it's sunk in somewhere. But the nice part is that I could look down and I could see all my relatives that had passed, and they were standing around me singing Christmas carols. And honestly, my first thought was, they're having a Christmas party and they didn't invite me. Like, that is the first thing I thought in my whatever almost dead ghost brain. And then I realized what was happening, and it's beautiful. So is it bad luck that I almost died on Christmas, or was it meant to be that way? I don't know. So yeah, I agree.
Sin, did she just sign off? I don't know. Did she just
She's been having technical difficulties. Here she comes.
Yeah.
So Sin, what about you in the Christmas theory?
I do know that some places like hospitals and other institutions like that tend to have Christmas parties and gatherings and lots of family coming in to visit people, not just your homes, but they tend to ramp up around after Thanksgiving. So Thanksgiving all the way through to the first of the year. And the old hospital here, we can actually hear carolers.
Aww.
We can hear bells, like jingle bells ringing. We've heard lots of laughter and just people happy because people come in and are happy. They're spreading the spirit of the holidays.
Yeah, they're coming back to celebrate with us.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Before we do our wrap up, Sysco, is there anything you would like to add as we wrap up? Anything you'd like to promote?
Well, yeah, just come on over to Journey Through the Gate, and Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern, and Monday nights with Steve Stockton. We have lots of surprises there. Sometimes we just like sitting on the front porch visiting, talking about weird stuff. And I hope you enjoy it. We're different, but like I said, I put it out there for a reason. And I think that I hope people feel welcome, to learn new things, or maybe, some old things. That's fine too. But yeah, we're not a fast podcast. There will be talking.
There will be talking. Sin, anything you'd like to say to wrap up?
Yeah, I got those 5 books on Amazon. Make really great Christmas presents. Check me out, Sin Trader Hill Author. You can reach me at Gmail, sintraderhillauthor@gmail.com. I'm on Facebook. I'm at elkvalleyparanormal.com as well. And just send me a message. Say hi.
That sounded good. Sarah?
Can you put that phone number back up real quick? Because I can't remember it.
All right, hold on.
So, Sysco, thank you. I like your message, especially about leaving something behind, because following in the footsteps of those like Hans Holzer, who I've read all of his books, it's important as paranormal investigators to understand where we've come from and where we're going to.
Love that.
So,
love that. It's been a pleasure meeting you guys so much. Yeah. And that's the thing, it's not that I'm saying I know, I don't. I just bring on people who I believe in their own little pocket do, and have reached that next level, and they're giving that positive message. But we also give, the truth on the dark stuff too, So there it is. And I hope everybody has a great holiday. It's been a pleasure meeting both of you. Sin, I love you. You have my heart. Get on my show again, baby. And let's just have some fun,
Let's do it.
And if you want to read more of my stories, We Are All Children in the Wilderness of the Afterlife, a guided tour through a haunted life. There's a title for you. Eat that one. Love y'all.
All right. Well, that was a long title. Was that all one book? Or was that like the Encyclopedia Britannica of your?
It's all one book on one journey that is not quite over yet.
No.
I would almost have the title spill onto the back cover. That'd be funny.
It does.
There's so many words.
It's already been taken care of.
Yeah, just
boldly.
Right over the whole
I
book.
assure you. We should do it. Yes.
I need to wrap up. So for Sysco, for Sin, Schrader, Hill, author. 4, Sarah Paranormal. It's me, Mike the King, Mike L. This was legit. Paranormal brought to you by Legit Podcast.com. Tomorrow night we have Is It Legit at 8:05. Thank you for watching.